Monogamy is not natural. Well, we can have a lot of discussions about the mechanisms in our brain and in our biology that are proof that we are monogamous or we are not monogamous. We know we have a pair bonding, our brains are wired for pair bonding. Helen Fisher has done a lot of research on this, and her conclusion is that we are made for pair bonding for 5 to 7 years, just to have our children grown up to a certain age. And I feel that we are still witnessing a generation who was raised with healthy monogamous examples, and pair bonding for life is really possible. So the last people we see in the wild are grandparents who are still able to pair bond for life, who love each other and stay together until they die. It is possible, we know it's possible. And maybe monogamy is not natural in the sense that we will always notice other people being sexually attractive. But I feel that self-discipline is also not natural. It's a learned skill, but it doesn't mean that it's bad or we shouldn't have self-discipline. So I feel having self-discipline, especially in a marriage, is a good thing, because you're not only protecting your marriage, you're also protecting the living environment of your children and your children's children. So you have a big responsibility, and the price you pay is being monogamous. And I'm saying the price you pay, and I feel like it's such a negative wording of what I actually mean, because in truly being monogamous, truly choosing your other partner, there are so many rewards in that. The thing is, culture teaches us that monogamy is like a straitjacket, and you have to give up all sorts of things, but then you will have a stable relationship. But stable is also boring. And I feel that it doesn't have to be like that. If you truly focus your sexual energy on your partner, if you truly decide to be each other's best friends, if you choose well and not impulsively based on pure attraction or lust, then you can build and grow for a lifetime, and everything will get better and deeper. And this is also what science tells us, that although marriage is often portrayed as just being a piece of paper, what can it change? We see that people who are in the same situation, people who are living together and people who are married, maybe they have the same amount of children, they live in the same country. We see that people who are married are better off in all ways. They are more affluent, they have less physical violence in the house, the children are healthier and happier, you live longer. So even the situation can be the same. The fact that there's a marriage surrounding the other couple, it means there's a lot of benefit in it. And I feel that it has to do with commitments and everything that goes with it, loyalty. And many people would live with someone they would not marry, because the standard to live with someone is for many people much lower than the standard they have to marry someone. And I will also get back to that in the last point. Yes, the next point, casual sex is freedom. I've talked about casual sex a lot in my episodes, and that is because I am just dumbfounded by what the sexual liberation has brought us. we have more STDs, we have more abortions, we have more divorce, we have more depression, we have more people not in a relationship. We have, well, it's not the land of milk and honey that was projected to us. And I feel that if we look at the data, we see that casual sex, it has a few disadvantages. One of them being that a research showed that 80% of the women who have casual sex feel more empty, more lonely afterwards. And for guys, this is 70%. So I feel that we are being trained to seek pleasure. Pleasure, pleasure, pleasure. Pleasure is what rules us. Pleasure is the king. We should always feel pleasure. And everything that's more real, in my opinion, takes time and takes effort. It is much harder to date someone and then to really take your time just by being friends to see if you're compatible. And even though you feel attraction, to not instantly go for it, but just take your time to feel if this is true, what you are, and test it in reality, test it over time. Also, it is portrayed to us that casual sex comes without a price. You can just have many encounters, and then one day you will meet Mr. or Mrs. Right, and you will just be able to stop and have a monogamous relationship with this person. But what we see in reality is that having many partners trains you in detachment, and everything you do often you get good at. So when we reach Mrs. Right or Mr. Right, then we see a lot that it is very hard to not have this radar on all the time, to look for the next, and to be really happy and satisfied with having this one person forever, especially after the first drugs of infatuation go down, and to then be satisfied with what you have is much harder when you have had a lot of encounters, because you have trained yourself in detachment. Also, we are often trained to see our 20s as a time to experiment and to lose our wild hairs, because we will be married and contained for a long time, so we should take it when we can. And I feel like what we see now is that people do that, and especially women, they just discard great guys in their 20s because they're like, yeah, I can get anyone I want at this age. So then they're like 30, and then it also says, the data says that when you don't have your first child when you're 30, you have 50% less chance of ever having a child. So even though at 30 you can still have children, it's already, the dating pool has become smaller, and there are many reasons that a lot of women just feel rushed when they're 35 or older. And yeah, sometimes they look back and they think, wow, I wish. And I feel like there's nothing wrong with getting married young. You have a lot of energy, and we see that it creates, especially in women, sometimes girl bosses, because you have so much energy, you have so much willpower at this age. And I feel that it would be so perfect if you can to already have a family and have children, so you can have all this energy and use it for yourself and your family to build something, and then you can benefit from it in your 30s and your 40s and your 50s, and you can grow and use it instead of working for a boss in the prime of your life. And then yeah, boss, it is so different than having a husband and having a family, because your husband will be with you for the rest of your life, and your boss can just let you go in the blink of an eye.